revealed how a billionaire CEO's hidden insult to a waitress led to a life-changing 3B loss. The bell above the door jingled as the air filled with the smell of bacon and coffee. Sarah, a dedicated waitress in the bustling downtown diner, was in her usual groove, flipping pancakes and pouring fresh java. She had 2 kids to feed, dreams of being a painter stowed in a drawer, and a heart full of hope. Then, in walked Tom, the sharply dressed billionaire CEO, expecting an uncomplicated breakfast as though the diner was a mere backdrop to his high-rise empire. As she poured his coffee, his words slipped through the air like poisoned darts. He was laughing with his business partner about the simpletons who served them, tossing around dismissive remarks about the working class as if they were mere puppets in his grand show. Those remarks hit Sarah hard. The tightness in her chest mimicked the feeling when her rent was due, and curse words bubbled in her throat. How dare he? Her heart raced as she glanced around. The regulars, the parents with their sleepy children, and the artists who found solace in greasy fries and oversized mugs, overheard. Their faces twisted with disbelief. How could someone like him look down on people who work day in and day out just to survive? Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. With that seed of indignation planted, the small diner exploded into a movement. Townsfolk rallied around Sarah, organizing an exhibition to showcase local talent, painting murals that brought color to their community corners, and strumming guitars on street corners, creating pure magic. The diner became a hub of creativity, where laughter and music drowned out condescension. Meanwhile, Tom was utterly oblivious, launching his latest corporate initiative without a clue about the storm brewing beneath his shiny surface. His dismissive comments had sparked a fire in the community, and they would not back down. News of Sarah's resilience spread like wildfire, igniting local newspapers and social media, a reminder that beneath the surface of hardship, there thrummed a heartbeat of solidarity. But that inevitable backlash against the corporate giant loomed. Tom's moves started to backfire as his name became synonymous with disdain. The community, now united, found strength in Sarah's journey. Every day at the diner, the patrons recounted tales of overcoming adversity, turning indignation into an inspiring movement. Just as the community watched Tom teetering on the edge of ruin, he received an unwelcome visit from his estranged father. A retired veteran, carrying the weight of humble beginnings, threw a wrench into Tom's reality. With every harsh truth, he made Tom question the man he had become, forcing him to confront not just his professional empire, but who he truly was. In this moment of reflection, Tom stood at a precipice, wrestling with the questions. Could he truly reconnect with his roots? Could he identify with the struggles happening just outside his corporate bubble? As the community thrived, Tom's world crumbled. And as tension spiraled, Sarah's story shone brighter than ever, leaving everyone poised on the edge of discovery. Would Tom find redemption, or would greed and arrogance consume him whole? The answers lingered in the heart of this vibrant community, waiting for someone daring enough to turn the tide. The diner buzzed with laughter and newfound life. Patrons crowded the tables, enjoying hearty meals, their hearts' burdens lifted just a bit by Sarah's unwavering spirit. She carried smiles to tables, her presence contagious. In every corner of the diner, dreams that had been tucked away began to flicker to life, ignited by the spark ignited in the wake of Tom's dismissive remarks. Sarah had spent countless nights flipping through paintbrushes and canvases, wondering if she would ever find the courage to pursue her artistic dreams. As she watched her friends and neighbors rally around her, picking up brushes to paint their own stories, she felt an unfamiliar sense of hope. Each stroke they painted on their murals seemed to breathe life into her own forgotten aspirations. Meanwhile, Tom seemed to be losing everything he'd built. His reputation had taken a nosedive, with angry tweets and headlines making him a household name for all the wrong reasons. In board meetings, his corporate maneuvers fell flat, and whispers of discontent filled the high-rise offices he had once ruled with an iron fist. He could almost hear the tittering laughter from the very diner he dismissed. The tables had turned, but no one saw it more clearly than his father that it was late at night when Tom's estranged father, Bob, returned to his childhood home, the one Tom had long abandoned. The modest space held heirlooms from a past Tom buried tattered pictures of birthday parties, walls lined with school accomplishments, and his father's memories of simpler times when laughter resonated louder than profit margins. "Tom," Bob said, his voice steady yet soft, "you've built a tower of glass, but there's no foundation beneath it. You've forgotten what matters." Tom's jaw clenched, but deep down, he felt the sting of truth. Memories pumped through his veins, the playground fights he'd had, the moments he helped his father in their backyard, laughter mingling with work as they shared dreams. Those were the moments that mattered, but they felt so distant now. The conflict between his ambition and loyalty to his roots consumed him like an overgrown vine. Back at the diner, Sarah's mural project was gaining speed. With each passing week, more hands joined the effort. They were painting not just murals, but a community, bringing neighbors together under a canopy of color. Children giggled and smeared paint on each other in playful chaos. Stories were shared, lives intertwined, all fueled by a single act of kindness that had unleashed the power within them. "Let us do it for Sarah," they chanted, connecting the community deeper than ever. As the day of the mural unveiling approached, anticipation buzzed like electricity in the air. Sarah felt an explosion of nerves and excitement, an overwhelming hope that something beautiful was about to happen. The diner was no longer just a diner, but a sanctuary of resilience and creativity. Then, out of the blue, a shocking revelation hit Tom as he looked through news clippings of Sarah's festivities. A button clicked in his mind, sorting through the noise. What if the humiliation he once wielded could serve as a catalyst for self-improvement? What could happen if he stepped back, met his father's challenge, and confronted the community with sincerity? His heart raced, the pull of redemption tinged with fear. Would he face them? Would he reach out to the very people he had wronged? As the clock ticked towards the unveiling, the stage was set, with tension thicker than smoke. Tom held the weight of two worlds on his shoulders, standing beneath a universe of choices. Would he take a step toward healing, or would he let pride keep him tethered to his past? And on the other side, would Sarah embrace the next chapter of her life, or would she fear the changes this new spotlight could invite? Both their destinies hung in the balance, risks swirling around them like autumn leaves. Would this transformation be their salvation, or would it lead to an even deeper divide? The moment of truth loomed closer. The day of the mural unveiling arrived, bathed in brilliant sunshine that painted the diner's facade in a golden glow. Excitement pulsed through the streets as people gathered, buzzing with anticipation. Colorful banners fluttered in the breeze, and the smell of freshly painted walls mingled with the scent of barbecue grilling outside. Sarah stood at the front of the diner, her heart thumping in rhythm with the vibrant atmosphere. Around her, familiar faces smiled wide, and old friends hugged tightly, wearing paint-splattered clothes as badges of honor. Children darted past, giggling as they commanded their little kingdoms of color. Sarah's eyes sparkled with tears of joy. She had never imagined this would become so much more than a mural. It was a celebration of community, a gentle reminder of the strength that lies in unity. "This is amazing. Just look at the colors," someone shouted, and laughter erupted like a joyful firework. But amidst the jubilation, Sarah felt a twinge of uncertainty. What if this was all a fleeting dream? What if the moment passed, and she was left standing there, paintbrush in hand, with nothing but shadowed aspirations? Then she remembered her first glances at her canvas. The hesitation before strokes marked a new beginning. It wasn't about perfection, it was about the journey. And this journey was far more significant than her fears. Meanwhile, across town, Tom sat in his luxurious yet lonely office, staring blankly at the wall. His mind raced with the emotions swirling from that night with his father. Bob's words echoed through his thoughts like a recurring message, forcing him to reflect deeply. Had he let his ambition overshadow the values that truly mattered? He stood, pacing back and forth. Each step seemed heavier than the last. Could he really confront the community he had wronged? He could already hear the whispers, the skepticism about his presence lingering in the air. "Tom, are you coming?" His assistant's voice pierced through the gloom. He hesitated, the silver door handle feeling cold against his palm. "Yeah, just give me a moment." He took a deep breath, grappling with fear and determination. He could either embrace the warmth of the community or remain trapped in his own fortress. A heavy weight pressed him toward the door. As he stepped out into the sun, something extraordinary began to stir within him. Dozens of people had gathered, and from a distance, vibrant colors flowed like a river of joy. He could see Sarah, her smile radiant in the sunlight, a beacon of hope. "Can I change?" he wondered, feeling the pulse of possibility wash over him. This was his chance to reconnect, to heal wounds, to make things right. Approaching the diner felt like walking towards a threshold of fear and regret. Would she see him as he was now, or would she only remember the person who had been so careless? He scolded himself, reminding himself that this wasn't about pride anymore. It was about something bigger. "Tom," someone called out, pulling his attention. The voice worked like a magnet. He turned, heart racing, as familiar faces looked back at him. They had reason to resent him, but uncertainty danced in their eyes. Their reaction sat heavy on his chest. But he couldn't back away. The guiding warmth of Sarah's mural surged behind him, and he knew he couldn't turn back. Every color cried out for connection, every swirl of paint echoed their shared narratives. "Hey, can I talk to you?" The words slipped out before he could stop them, directed right at Sarah, some few paces away. Her eyes widened as she noticed him moving through the crowd, hesitation mingling with a flicker of hope. Will she say yes? He thought, praying she could see the earnestness behind his anxious smile. Both of them stood on an edge, poised at the brink of transformation. Would they welcome each other as journeys, or would the scars of the past overshadow their present? And as Tom took his first step toward Sarah, the world around them seemed to hold its breath. What awaited them on the other side of this moment? The crowd buzzed with chatter and laughter, a symphony of voices as Sarah steadied herself. The vibrant colors of the mural seemed to pulse around her, alive with the energy of a new beginning. But in that moment, her focus narrowed to Tom. She felt the connection fraying between them, a fragile line stretched thin by past hurt. "Sarah?" He said her name softly, testing the waters. His voice was heavy, weighed down by unspoken words, her heart hammered. He looked different to her now, somehow lighter, but the remnants of their last encounter still lingered like a dark cloud. "What do you want, Tom?" She managed, her voice steadier than she felt. "I want to explain," he said, stepping closer, a mix of hope and apprehension swirling within his gaze. The crowd faded into the background, their laughter drifting away like leaves in the wind. "Is that really what you came for? To talk?" She crossed her arms, a defense mechanism against the vulnerability he stirred within her. "Yes," he replied, determination sharpening his features. "I know I hurt you and everyone here. I didn't realize what I was doing until it was too late." The sincerity in his voice tugged at her heart, but she couldn't let him off the hook that easily. "It was more than just you not paying attention, Tom. You changed everything. You made us invisible." He winced at her words, as if she had struck him. "I know, and I hate myself for it. I didn't think about the impact my actions had on real lives. I was so caught up in my own world. I didn't see you, any of you." A deep silence enveloped them, heavy with the weight of their shared history. Tom's eyes searched hers, as if looking for a way back from the chasm of misunderstanding. "And now?" Sarah asked, her heart softening against her better judgment. "What do you plan to do? Just show up and say you're sorry?" "I want to make amends," urged Tom, his voice rising slightly with passion. "I want to support this community. I can't undo the past, but I want to prove I can be better. I want to be part of this." "But how? By throwing money at us? Is that how you plan to fix this?" She felt the anger slipping away, replaced with curiosity. There was a flicker of determination in his eyes, something she hadn't seen before. "If that's what it takes," he paused, then added, "but I want to do more than that. I want to listen. I want to understand your world." Sarah took a step back, processing his words. She had built her fortress high, but the sincerity in his voice began to chip away at the walls. She gathered her thoughts, not quite ready for the chaos inside her, yet feeling a flicker of hope battling against her doubt. Around them, the crowd swelled with laughter, the aroma of barbecue intermingling with the sweet tang of excitement. Unknowingly, they watched, eyes darting in intrigue, as two lives hung in a fragile balance. "Prove it," she finally said, her voice laced with a challenge. "Show me you mean what you say. Be here. Not just today, but every day. Start by helping to rebuild trust. Start where it matters most." Tom's breath hitched. The hope in his eyes was now tinged with fear. "I accept. Just tell me how." He was willing to step into the arena with her, a fight for their voices to be heard. That glimmer in his gaze made Sarah's heart skip. Could he really change? The crowd pulsed behind them, the mural standing tall as a symbol of revival. Yet the question lingered, was their past too powerful to forgive? "Yeah. Well, let us see if you can walk the walk," Sarah said, a smile creeping onto her lips. The warmth of possibility began to spread, but deep down, a whisper of doubt still clung to her heart. As their eyes locked, the unspoken challenges swirled around them. The mural behind became a tapestry of hope, but the shadows of their history lingered just as strong. And as conversations surged and the celebration roared, Sarah wondered, could this moment truly mark the beginning of something new? Or was it just a prelude to even greater conflicts ahead? The air crackled with anticipation as the sun began its descent, casting an orange glow over the mural. Sarah couldn't shake the sense of vulnerability that clung to her. Tom was here, really here, but could he truly shoulder the weight of their past? Each heartbeat echoed with uncertainty, but there was something different in Tom's posture. No more was he the man who had turned away. "I want to start by helping," he said, his voice steadying. "How about organizing a community event? Something that brings people together and starts a dialogue?" Sarah raised an eyebrow, her skepticism bubbling to the surface. "You think throwing a party will mend what you broke? This isn't just about a fun day out, Tom." "I know that," he rushed to explain. "But it's a step. It can show that I'm willing to listen, to learn. It's more than just repairing trust. It's building something new. And what if people don't want to listen to you?" She challenged, searching his expression for traces of the arrogance he once wore like a badge. "What if they don't want anything to do with you?" The shadows of fear flickered in his eyes, but he squared his shoulders. "Then I'll keep trying. I'll reach out and talk to them. I'll understand their stories, their struggles. I can't expect them to forgive me immediately. I just need a chance to show that I care." In that moment, something fragile blossomed inside her, a hopeful belief that maybe, just maybe, he could change. But it was tempered by the memory of the rift his absence had caused. "So what?" she asked, her voice softening. "You want me to just trust you? You think I should get everyone behind you?" Tom swallowed hard, running a hand through his hair. "Trust can't be granted like a permission slip, Sarah. It must be earned. And I'm ready to start earning it." His sincerity washed over her like a balm, even while doubt whispered in the back of her mind. She couldn't forget the years of alienation, the feeling of being brushed aside. But she saw him differently now. This was no longer the careless man from her past. He seemed to have tasted the bitterness of regret and wished to make things right. "And how do you plan to do all this?" she pressed, folding her arms again, feeling the protective instinct surge. "You just can't dive in without any idea of what you're doing. Let us start small," he suggested, his eyes brightening. "A community cleanup, bring back pride to our space, you know? I can support it, organize it. I'll show up and do the heavy lifting, talk to people, whatever it takes." Her heart raced in response to the fervor in his voice. This was no longer about one person's failure. This was about commitment. He was proposing an action that tied them both to the community, to each other again. "Okay," she said slowly, letting the idea settle in. "But if you really mean this, you have to understand something. It's not just about checking boxes. People will see through you if that's the case." "Understood," he replied, nodding with earnest determination. "No pretending, no shortcuts. Full transparency." And as they stood there, a mixture of bravery and uncertainty swirling between them, Sarah felt her defenses begin to melt. Maybe this was how healing began, in the openness to embrace not just others, but oneself. That as they carved out plans and exchanged ideas, the crowd reverberated with laughter again, but it faded as Sarah caught Tom's gaze. "This won't be easy," she warned. "Are you really prepared for what that might mean?" "I am," he declared, a fervent promise lighting his eyes. "I'm in this for the long haul." Her breath caught in her throat. Was she? The uncertainty still loomed like a mountain before her. But a part of her, a hopeful part, began to believe in the possibility of change. Together, they might just begin to piece together all that had been broken, even if the road ahead was long and winding. And as Sarah turned to glance at the vibrant mural, her heart weighed with questions. Could one event truly shift everything? Or would the scars of the past resurface once again, threatening to tear them apart before they could move forward? Sarah watched Tom's face as the reality of their plans set in. She could see a mix of hope and apprehension swirling in his eyes. It reminded her of the time she had stood on the edge of a cliff, peering down at the vast unknown below. Did she dare to leap, trusting that the ground would be there when she landed? "I'll talk to a few folks in the community," Tom offered, breaking through her thoughts. "Maybe we can meet at the coffee shop tomorrow morning. I can start by getting the local artists involved. They know how to draw people in, and we could get them to paint the mural." "Good idea," Sarah replied, feeling an unexpected rush of excitement. "But don't expect everyone to be welcoming. Some might still carry the weight of your past actions." "I get it," he nodded, the weight of her words sinking in. "I'll be ready for pushback. It's part of the process." She hesitated. "You understand it won't be just their judgment on you. It's about us too." Tom's expression softened. "I know. This isn't just about my redemption. It's about rebuilding what's been lost for both of us." Her heart squeezed at the vulnerability he showed. It felt surreal to be caught in this moment with him. Once upon a time, they had shared everything: dreams, laughter, even the smallest life details. Now, here they were, cautiously stepping around the echoes of their shared past. "Tomorrow, then," she said, deciding firmly. "But no promises that everyone will be on board. You must be ready for anything." And as they parted ways, darkness began to blanket the sky. Sarah's mind whipped through a whirlwind of thoughts. Could he really be different? Was it possible for someone to transform so completely? She sighed deeply, wishing she could hold on to hope without the weight of suspicion looming. The next morning arrived with a cool breeze that carried the scent of nostalgia. The coffee shop buzzed with chatter, the colorful walls dressed in local art. Sarah arrived early, keeping one eye on the door, anxiety fluttering in her gut. What if Tom didn't show up? Or worse, what if he backed out? When he walked in, a surge of warmth enveloped her. He looked determined, wearing a green flannel shirt and a confident smile. She felt her heart respond, but along with it, doubt crept in, whispering reminders of all that had gone wrong before. "Hey, you made it," he greeted, sliding into the chair across from her. "I hope you've got the ear of a few good people." "I've reached out to a couple of artists I know," she replied, crossing her hands on the table to keep them steady. "But they might take a bit of convincing." "Leave it to me," Tom said, his enthusiasm contagious. "I'll charm them. Let us give them something to believe in." Once they got through the pleasantries, they dove into details about the event. The more they talked, the more Sarah saw glimpses of the man she once admired, a man with vision and passion. Yet with every word he uttered, fear coiled tighter within her. "Remember," she urged, "patience is key. They're not going to jump on board because you show up. You have to listen to them, feel their emotions." "I will," he promised, sincerity in every syllable. As they began to sketch ideas on a napkin, the door swung open and a bell jingled. A figure stood frozen in the doorway. It was someone Sarah recognized instantly, a face that carried both warmth and judgment. Jess, a fierce local artist, and someone who had fought alongside Sarah during past community battles. "Sarah?" Jess called, her voice sharp as ice. "What are you doing here with him?" The weight of that question settled heavily on Sarah's chest. Tom's head snapped up, confusion flashing across his features. "Jess, wait." Sarah instinctively reached out. But Jess crossed her arms, nostrils flaring as if she could sense betrayal. "Don't tell me you're giving him a chance after everything?" Jess shot back, her eyes narrowed. Suddenly, the room felt suffocating. Sarah's heart raced, caught between defending Tom and grappling with her own burgeoning hope. "Make sure you speak the truth, Sarah," Jess warned, turning on her heel to leave. "Don't get swept away." As Jess's figure faded into the bustling streets, Sarah felt the air shift around her. Had she opened a door she couldn't close? Or was this just the beginning of something worth fighting for? Tom looked at Sarah, his face a mix of concern and brave resolve. "What do we do now?" he asked quietly, fear creeping into his tone, her breath stilled. The question hung in the air like fog, filled with possibilities and potential heartbreak. As they sat across from each other, tangled in indecision, the world around them felt both vibrant and precarious. Yet deep down, something strong whispered back. They were already on the path. How would they respond to the challenge ahead? Would they let the fear of the past drown them, or find a way to rise together? The silence between them seemed to stretch endlessly. Sarah stared into her coffee, the swirling steam mixing with her thoughts. Maybe, she finally said, breaking through the tension, we should try talking to Jess again. Even if it's just to clear the air. Tom nodded slowly. You think she'll listen? Without a doubt, Sarah replied, though a flicker of uncertainty danced in her mind. She's passionate about community, just like you. Maybe she'll warm up when she sees how serious you are. I hope so, Tom said, his gaze dropping. I know I have a mountain to climb, but I feel like I need this. We need this. The determination in his voice sent a jolt through her. There was something stirring in Sarah, a mix of hope and fear. They were both porous, ready to be filled or broken again. Over the next few hours, they mapped out their strategy. They jotted down names of potential artists and accounts of community events past. With each name Tom spoke, Sarah felt a little more grounded. This wasn't just about Tom's redemption. It was about their community and reclaiming a shared dream that had once sparkled with possibility. As they wrapped up their brainstorming, Sarah's phone buzzed, jolting her from her thoughts. A text from Jess read, "Coffee shop, 6 p.m. Come alone." "Looks like Jess is willing to meet," Sarah said, her heart racing. Tom's smile faded. "Alone? She wants to talk to you without me?" "It's probably for the best," Sarah replied. "She needs to know I'm serious about this about you. I can't hide that part of me anymore." "Just be careful," he warned, his brow furrowed. "I don't want to see you hurt." "I'll be okay," she assured him, steeling herself against her doubt. She was stepping into uncharted territory, but that was what made it thrilling, right? They exchanged a tense glance, their connection tightening for a moment. As Sarah stood to leave, she felt that familiar flutter of uncertainty in her stomach. Was she really ready to risk so much, especially when Jess held the power to sway the community's opinion? But as she approached the door, one last statement echoed in her mind, Tom's quiet voice lingering. "This is a chance for both of us." Hours later, Sarah stood outside the coffee shop, the sun dipping lower in the sky, casting warm hues across the pavement. She took a deep breath, letting the smells of roasted coffee and fresh pastries wrap around her. But the moment she stepped inside, the cozy warmth vanished. Jess was already seated by the window, arms crossed, jaw set. "Sarah," Jess greeted curtly. "You actually came." "I can't let this go without speaking to you," Sarah replied, trying to keep her voice steady. As she approached the table, Jess's expression softened for just a moment, betraying the vulnerability behind her armor. "I don't understand why you'd give him another chance. Don't you remember the hurt?" "I do," Sarah admitted, her heart pounding. "But sometimes, we have to believe in second chances. I know it's hard, but Tom wants to change." "And you think he can?" Jess challenged, her voice tight. "How can you trust him?" "I don't just trust him," Sarah said, feeling a swell of conviction. "I trust what we built before. The laughter, the dreams. I want to believe that we can build something meaningful again together." Silence filled the space between them as Jess processed her words. The chatter of the coffee shop faded into the background. Could this really be the moment that changed everything? Finally, Jess spoke, her voice softer now. "I can't support this. Not yet. You're putting yourself at risk." Sarah's heart sank. "But what if this is the chance we need? To rebuild, to heal?" "Sometimes healing means saying no," Jess replied quietly, her gaze unwavering. The disappointment stung, but Sarah fought against it. "Listen, I'm going to give him a chance. Give us a chance. Just please think about it." Jess glanced away, her expression conflicted. "You're brave to stand up for him, but I just can't be part of your mistake." The sting of those words hit Sarah hard. She wrestled with her emotions, battling frustration and helplessness. The moment felt like a cliff urging her to leap or step back. As Sarah turned to leave, Jess called out, "I hope you know what you're doing." Her heart thundered in her chest. Standing in the doorway, Sarah knew one thing. She was on the edge, ready to trust again, but at what cost? Would Tom's past crush their future, or could they rise together? Outside, she took a deep breath. It was time to face Tom. But the real question hung in the air, a whisper that trailed her into the twilight. What would she do if Tom disappointed her once more? The chill in the air greeted Sarah as she stepped outside. She felt lost in her thoughts, the weight of Jess's words pressing down on her. The streetlights flickered to life as twilight deepened. Each step toward Tom felt heavier, uncertainty clawing at her heart. What would she say? Would he understand the gravity of the situation? The collision of hope and fear swirled within her like a difficult brew. When she finally reached Tom's door, she knocked, the sound echoing in the quiet of the evening. The door swung open immediately, revealing his concerned face. His expression shifted from worry to relief in an instant. "Hey, how did it go?" Tom asked, searching her eyes for answers. She hesitated, gathering her thoughts. "It was tough. Jess, well, she's not ready to support us." Tom's face fell. "I knew she might react like that, but I hoped." "She cares, Tom," Sarah interrupted gently. "But she also has a memory of everything that has happened. I'm not sure she believes in second chances. At least not yet." Tom's shoulders sagged, and he ran a hand through his hair, frustration etched across his features. "I can't blame her. I wouldn't trust me either." "That's not fair," Sarah replied, urging him to meet her gaze. "You need to believe in yourself. You're not that person anymore." "I want to be different," Tom insisted. "But it's hard when the past keeps coming back, even when you try to rewrite the story." There was sadness in his voice that struck a chord in her heart. She took a deep breath, wanting to bridge the distance she felt between them. "If we want this, we have to fight for it. Together." Tom looked up, his expression softening. "You're right. But what do we do about Jess? We need the community to believe in us again." "We start small," Sarah suggested. "Maybe organize an event to show how committed you are? Things that bring the community together." "That could work," Tom said, his voice igniting with hope. "A way to make them see me as more than just my mistakes." Sarah felt a spark of determination. They could reclaim their narrative. "Exactly. We can highlight the artists, the local businesses. Make it a celebration of hope." "Let us do it," Tom replied, his eyes lighting up. "I want to make this right. For Jess, for you, for us." As they exchanged ideas, Sarah's heart began to lighten. She could almost feel the community's warmth enveloping them like a promise. They were building something real again, brick by brick. But with each plan they laid out, a tension hummed beneath the surface. For all their enthusiasm, the specter of Jess loomed large. Suddenly, Tom's phone buzzed, pulling both of their gazes. He glanced at the screen, the expression on his face shifting from eagerness to something darker. "What is it?" Sarah asked, a knot forming in her stomach. "It's Jess," Tom said, frowning as he read the message. She's not finished. She's planning to talk to the council. About me. About us." A wave of dread washed over Sarah. What does that mean? She's gathering support, wanting to voice her concerns publicly. If she's successful, his voice trailed off, leaving an ominous silence in its wake. Sarah felt her chest tighten. They were on the brink of something beautiful, yet an unseen threat loomed. What if she stirs up the community's fears instead of uniting them? Tom's brow furrowed, his gaze shifting away. "We have to act fast. We can't let her dictate our story." In that moment, Sarah knew. They were standing at a precipice. Would they fight against the tide, or would they let fear pull them under? "We'll show them, Tom. We can't let Jess's doubts hold us back. Let us outshine her." Tom nodded, a glimmer of determination pushing away uncertainty. "You're right. We need to declare our commitment. We'll fight back." The fire ignited between them, a renewed sense of purpose sparking. But as they set their plans in motion, Sarah wondered, what would be the cost of their battle against Jess's words? Could they truly alter the community's perception, or were they on the verge of awakening a storm? The next morning, the air was thick with tension. Sarah felt it cling to her skin as she sipped her coffee, staring out the window into the bustling street. People moved about in their morning routines, some deep in conversation, others lost in thought. Sarah's mind was still racing, and without Tom by her side, the weight of uncertainty felt heavier. "Maybe I should reach out to Jess," she mused aloud, pushing her hair back nervously as she contemplated her decision. From the corner of her eye, she saw a familiar figure approaching. It was Tom, looking more determined than ever as he strode into the cafe, a stack of flyers in his hand. He wasted no time diving into their plan. "I've been working on ideas for our event. I want to create something positive, something that shows who I am now." As he spread the flyers across the table, Sarah felt a wave of admiration. Tom's passion was infectious, but the nagging worry about Jess lingered. What if she turns even more people against you? Sarah felt compelled to voice her fears, knowing that the stakes were high for both of them. She can't overshadow us if we're loud enough, right? Tom said, fire in his eyes. It's about strength in numbers. If we reach out to the folks willing to stand behind us, it could change everything. Her heart raced at his drive. You're right. Maybe we can put together a petition, something that gives the community a voice to show them that they want this as much as we do. As they brainstormed more ideas, Sarah felt a genuine hope blooming within her. They talked about local artists, musicians, food vendors, spreading the word, rallying the community together. But as they polished their plans, the shadow of Jess's impending confrontation hung overhead like a storm cloud. Later that day, Sarah found herself standing outside the council chamber, a crowd beginning to gather. She and Tom had decided to attend despite their trepidation. They needed to hear Jess, gauge the mood of the community, and figure out how to counter her narrative. Inside, the air was charged. Voices clashed, echoing off the walls that held the weight of shared history and pain. Sarah's stomach twisted as she recognized Jess among the crowd. She stood with a group of supporters, her expression fierce. As the council members took their seats, Jess stepped forward, her confidence radiating. You all remember what happened last time, she began, drawing in the attention of the room. The trust we had was shattered, and we're left with lingering consequences. Tom may talk a good game, but what if he lets us down again? Gasps rippled through the audience, dread gnawing at the corners of Sarah's heart. This was a different Jess, the one filled with passion and purpose, ready to fight for what she believed was right. Do they see all your past mistakes instead of the person you are now? Sarah whispered to Tom, whose jaw clenched. Not if we show them the truth, he replied, determination glowing in his eyes. Just then, Jess locked eyes with Sarah from across the room. There was a moment heavy and fraught where past grievances blurred into palpable tension. Jess turned her gaze back to the council, continuing her speech. Everyone deserves a second chance, Jess said, but her eyes bitterly reminded the crowd of scars that still lingered. But it has to be earned. We need to stand together to protect our community. As the crowd stirred, Sarah felt the urgency of the moment. They needed to act, to unify and counter the spiraling doubts that hung thick in the air. She turned to Tom, heart racing. It's now or never, she declared, her voice laced with determination. We have to get out there and show them our commitment together. As they prepared to step into the fray, a single question danced in her mind. Would they be able to turn the tide, or would Jess's words seal their fate before they even had a chance to fight? The atmosphere in the council chamber was electric, the kind of energy that ignited hope and fear simultaneously. Sarah and Tom stood shoulder to shoulder, the pulse of uncertainty thrumming in their veins. Jess's powerful speech had set the tone, echoing through the room like a call to arms. We need to stand together to protect our community. But Tom wasn't backing down. He glanced at Sarah, and a flicker of determination ignited in his eyes. Are you ready? He asked, voice low but firm. Let us do this, Sarah replied, heart pounding. They stepped forward together. All eyes turned to them, a collection of faces ranging from doubt to curiosity. It was their moment. Hello, everyone. Sarah's voice rang out, trembling but fierce. We want to acknowledge the hurt and distrust from the past. We know that trust isn't given lightly, and we are here to earn it. Her statement hung in the air, and she could feel the weight of every pair of eyes bearing down on them. Tom took a deep breath. When I spoke thoughtlessly, I didn't just hurt Sarah, I hurt every one of you. I wish I could take it back. All I can do now is commit to making this right. By doing what? Jess interjected, her voice sharp. By throwing another party? You think that LL fix everything? Tom met her challenge head on. No, Jess. It's about more than a party. It's about listening to each one of you and understanding your struggles. I want to be part of this community not just as a CEO, but as someone who respects and values what you all bring to the table. The tension in the room shifted slightly, a ripple of surprise at Tom's sincerity washing through the crowd. Sarah nodded in agreement. We're not just organizing an event. We want to showcase our community's incredible artists, the heart and soul of this town. We believe in celebrating what we have together, not just surviving the scars of the past. A murmur of conversation broke out, and Jess's expression flickered. A battle of emotions played out in her eyes. But she still held strong, a guardian of her community's memories. "What you're asking for is a leap of faith," she said, softer now, but still firm. "You want us to trust you, both of you. But how do we know you won't let us down again?" At that moment, Sarah stepped closer, vulnerability washing over her. "Trust is built on actions, Jess. We're committing our time and energy to listen, to help, and to build this community back up together. That's the promise we're making." A pause settled over them, the crowd now hanging on her words. Jess's gaze, once steely, now softened a little. "And what about the people who don't agree with your vision? The ones who want to forget?" Tom straightened. "Then I will face the pushback with humility and take accountability for my past. I'm ready for it, no matter how hard it gets." An impossible silence fell over the crowd. A flicker of doubt danced in Jess's eyes, but even as she struggled with her reservations, the weight of the room began to shift. Feeling the tension break, Tom spoke again, his voice carrying a sincerity that cut through the unease. "People make mistakes, but they can learn. I want to learn from you. I want to create a platform to amplify your voices and share your stories." The atmosphere crackled with a newfound energy. A few nods blossomed in the crowd, but Sarah knew it wasn't enough. She took a step forward, bravely seeking the hearts of the community. "We're not asking for blind trust, but for an opportunity. Give us a chance to show how we can rise together." Finally, as if the dam of doubt had burst, a voice from the back called out, "I'd like to see that." Others began to murmur in agreement. "Let us put this to a vote." Another shouted, and with that, the tension that had clung so tightly began to unravel. Tom and Sarah shared a glance, a rush of solidarity surging between them. As the council members began to debate, they could feel the people's energy shifting from fear to hope. "Now we fight for this," Tom whispered, determination steadfast in his eyes. "Yes," Sarah replied, her heart swelling with newfound hope and belief. As the voting commenced, the atmosphere thick with possibility, they felt the reality of their struggle, their vulnerability. The audience was witnessing their journey unfold in real time, a transformation crafted through shared efforts and the echoes of the past. Then the council member announced, "The proposal for the community event will move forward, with conditions for review and accountability." Cheering erupted, voices lifting in celebration. Tears of joy filled Sarah's eyes as she turned to Tom. "We did it." Tom smiled, a weight lifting from his shoulders. "This is just the beginning." The community buzzed with excitement, and as they mingled, connections sparked. Jess approached, her expression softer now. "I didn't expect you to go this far. I still have reservations, but maybe I see your intentions." "I appreciate that, Jess," Sarah replied, her heart full of hope. "Let us work together to build something amazing." With that, the weight of past fears and tensions began to melt away, curiosity igniting transformative energy. They were on the edge of creating something truly beautiful. Together, as sunlight flooded through the chamber, illuminating the path ahead. Sarah felt the warmth of community wrapping around them, healing their hearts one step at a time. And in that moment, they realized change was here. It was real, vibrant, and bursting with potential. It was a new chapter, brighter and bolder. But now, dear viewers, this is where you come in. You need to subscribe now to the channel to join us on this journey and not miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like right this second to feed the algorithm and help others find this message of transformation. Comment below your thoughts and feelings about this stunning ending. Your voices matter. And don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to feel inspired by this incredible journey. Only true fans understand how important it is to support the channel through these actions. Let us spread hope together.